Students, today we are going to discuss about the whole brain approach. Whole brain approach to teaching enhance the interneural connectivity in the brain, which has a significant positive outcomes on learning. A whole brain teaching is an approach designed towards maximizing the student engagement and focusing on the way brain is really designed to learn. Whole brain teaching is a new radical idea developed by the Chris Beffel in 1999. Whole brain teaching is an instructional method. Whole brain teaching combines the direct instruction, sharing, and immediate feedback to become a new style of teaching. It is said that in the classroom, teachers generally activate and focus on only one side of the brain. By activating the power of both hemispheres, a child will be able to retain knowledge better and become proficient in any subject. Now, students, we will see the features of whole brain approach. It, it combines the direct instruction, sharing, and immediate feedback. It makes possible active engagement of every student. It brings about change from routine lecture. It is useful for any age group. It helps to maintain the classroom dynamic. It facilitates the classroom management. It is beneficial for strengthening retention of students. It makes possible organization of cooperative learning. It helps to carry out formative and summative evaluation. Now students, we will see there are several steps in the whole brain approach, and we will see that steps one by one. First step in whole brain approach is class S. The teacher begins the class by saying class anyway she likes, and turns the class is responsible for mimicking the teacher's voice by responding yes. If teacher said class, 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 then the class must respond yes, yes, yes. Then the second is classroom rule. Here, before starting the actual teaching of the content, the teacher goes over the 5 classroom rules, and she tells about the 5 classroom rules to the entire class and ensure that everyone understood the rules. The rules are: first rule is follow directions quickly. The second rule is raise your hand for permission to speak. The third rule is raise your hand to leave your seat. The fourth rule is make smart choice. The fifth rule is keep your dear teacher happy. And now the third step is teach okay. This is the informative part of the lesson. Before beginning to the teacher must divide the class into 2 groups, the first and second, where first is the teacher and second is the students. Then the teacher begins to teach a small section of information using a different teaching skill. For gaining and sustaining the attention, after the teacher has finished a small portion of information, he or she instructs the class teach, and the class respond okay. The students then respond Students then work in pair, assuming the role assigned to them, thus learning from each other. The teacher observes the students to confirm their comprehension. If the teacher is not convinced that the students have not understood the content, then she has to repeat the process till they understood. Otherwise, the teacher has to return to step 1 again. Now, step 4. Step 4 is scoreboard game. Depending on the age of student, the scoreboard games can be used. This step is based on the principle of reinforcement. Aim is to keep the student motivated in the learning task. This step is used as a part of formative and summative assessment. For those students who are the 0 to 4 years of age, the student receive a smiley or prompts in return for procedures performed well or procedure performs badly. When student receive a smiley, the teacher exclaims 1 second party, and while making the smiley points to the students who exclaim, oh yay. When student receive applause and the teacher says mighty ground, and the students light and drop their shoulders while groaning loudly. For those students who are from age 5 to 12 year of age, the student receive a point when they perform a procedure well, and they also receive the 1 second party and response. If students do not perform a procedure well, the teacher gives herself a point, the mighty ground, in response to take place. The fifth step is hands and eyes. This step is for focusing on the important points which you may be emphasizing or repeating during the lesson. It is used when the teacher wants the student to pay extra attention to what he is saying. To begin this process, the teacher says hands and eyes, and the student responds by repeating the word action of the teacher. This step is focused on the drilling of the content. The sixth step is mirror. Similar to the hands and eyes step, these steps allow the teacher to gain control of the classroom. The students have to repeat the action of the teacher. This is the main part of the lesson, where the teacher are expected to contribute their own techniques and idea to convey the content during the session. Teacher has to incorporate their own gestures, songs in this portion of the lesson, and the students are expected to mirror the teacher after the teacher says teach and the class responds okay. This step is useful to facilitate the students' engagement. The seventh step is switch. This step is used with the teacher's teach okay step. While students are teaching, it is imperative that the same student, not teacher, every time. Therefore, in order to get every student involved in the lesson, the teacher will direct the student to switch, and the student will respond by saying switch, and the teacher of the group will rotate. Now, what is the role of teacher in this whole brain approach? These are the whole 7 steps, and in these 7 steps, what is the role of teacher? First, gain attention of students. Maintain clarity while giving instruction. Begin a new scoreboard every day and provide appropriate motivation. Integrate their own teaching style and flair into the lesson. Actively engage every student in the lesson. Encourage a pair work and group work by forming group appropriately. Now, what is the role of students in this whole brain approach? Perform their roles appropriately, follow the instruction carefully, respond keenly to the teachers by participating wholeheartedly. Be accountable when working in a pair or group. Show positive interdependence. Take responsibility for one's own learning. What are the benefits of using whole brain approach? It empowers the students as learners. It relaxes the student and maintains attention-free climate. It involves the students in a variety of ways. It combines direct instruction, sharing, and immediate feedback. It makes possible active engagement of every student. It is beneficial for strengthening in the retention of students. It helps to carry out formative and summative evaluation. Limitation of using whole brain approach. Success depends on how effectively the student participates. Success also depends on how creatively the students use the different techniques and strategies. A lot depends on how deeply the student accepts the different steps as a part of learning process. It is difficult to make students active and involved in various activities all the time.